All right, YouTube, Barber's Lounge, and we are back in the world of Wahl, where we are going to compare and review the Super Taper X, the Vapor Limited Edition, and the Black Magic Clip. And we're going to heat test the blades. We're going to test the runtime. We're going to test the motor. We're going to take apart the machine. You guys already know how we do it, so let's get it started. So like we usually do, let's start with the blades on these three machines. And we'll begin with the Super Taper X. And the first thing you may notice is different shape with this. This has a T-shape like an outliner, so you're probably wondering, does it have special guards? No, premium guards will fit, the regular guards will fit. The Stylecraft dub guards, they will fit as well, or the babyless guards. So different shape, but will still fit most guard systems. So let's open them up, take a look at it. Okay, since we already mentioned the shape of this blade, let's talk a little more about it. Now this gives you increased visibility as well, and you could do a couple things that you might be doing with the liner, like going around the ear with long hair and trimming it off. In case you need something a little more powerful, it gives you a little more ability, but you still wouldn't line up with this. The stationary blade has 21 teeth. I didn't have any of these teeth grabbing pores while I was using it, so that's a plus. It also has the grooves on it, which helps organize and feed the hair into the cutting blade. One thing these grooves also do is it's less friction on the client's head. So you'll see I have the fade blade on the Magic Clip here. This is flat, and when it's rubbing back and forth on the client's head, it's going to create friction. This, you have less metal touching the client's head, and it creates less friction. So because of these grooves, this blade is actually one of the most comfortable blades I've ever used with no guard on it when giving myself a cut. And let's talk about the shape of the blade. Taper blade, similar to the shape on the Andis Master blade, and very similar to the shape on the recently released TPOB chunk blade. And you can see the difference in visibility right here. And you see what I have this on. This is for the Andis Phenom, but we'll get into that in another video. So now we'll talk about the cutting blade on the Super Taper X. It has the same stagger teeth that you would find on the Magic Clip, and this is really what made the Magic Clip popular, is because with the stagger tooth technology, it gives you that textured look and a real soft finish to your fades. You'll also see in the cutting blade, they did remove metal as well. Here is the cutting blade for the Black Magic Clip. You'll see how much they took off. Both blades on the Super Taper X have a stainless steel coating. This is like the basic coating. While still does keep your blades sharp, cool, and prevents rust, it doesn't work as good as a DLC coating, a diamond-like carbon coating. So that covers the blades on the Super Taper X. On the Vapor Limited Edition, we have the same blade that came with the regular Vapor, and that's the F32 fade-out blade. The stationary blade has 50% more teeth, 32 teeth on this blade. And it always amazes me how well this machine takes off hair every time I pick it up to use it. Let's move on to the cutting blade. The cutting blade has 25 teeth, has this curved shape to it right here, which is for minimal contact and to really grab the hair from the bottom and chop it. And this cutting blade is very similar to the Shallow Tooth 2.0 by Stylecraft. Wahl F32 fade out blade here, Stylecraft Shallow Tooth 2.0 right here. Both blades are coated in that DLC coating, which helps keep your blades cool, sharp, and prevents rust. And Wahl says this makes the blades last 4 times longer than the traditional stainless steel coating. Moving on to the blades for the Black Magic Clip. Now the stationary blade is that traditional classic Wahl fade blade. This was the blade that was on the corded seniors for a long time. On the corded version, I would have it grab pores. On this version, I haven't had it grab pores. This has 21 teeth, and this is coated in gold titanium. Benefits of titanium is that it doesn't have as much treatment sometimes as the DLC coating, so it can hit a little better, and it's the most hypoallergenic. So for any customers with sensitive skin, this would be something that you would use. But I never, in years and years of cutting hair, I've had to switch blades because somebody's skin was that sensitive. But not saying it doesn't happen, but I never had anyone come in and request, yo, can you use the titanium hypoallergenic blade on me? And move on to the cutting blade. This is the stagger tooth cutting blade, except this is coated in black DLC. And again, I got to mention that stagger tooth technology. Definitely something that makes you keep a Magic Clip on your station, because it's so forgiving and it makes blending easy. When you have a new customer that you can't rush through the haircut because you're not familiar with their hair, it may be patchy, it may be thin, it may come off easy, you're not sure how it's going to cut. So you may want to be cautious with the new customer and cutting them for the first time, and that's why you'll keep that Magic Clip, because you could kind of tread lightly while going through the cut and seeing how the hair reacts. But those stagger teeth definitely give it that textured soft finish by uniformly, unevenly cutting the hair to give it a textured look. And that's what gives it that frizzy look, or that fuzzy look. So if you notice, whenever you do a fade with the Magic Clip and the customer's looking straight on, or if you cut yourself with it and you're looking straight on, you notice that fade is like a little, like the hair's a little fuzzy on the side. That's because of this cutting blade. This is the magic behind the Magic Clip. And now that we're familiar with the coating on these blades, let's do our heat test and see how the coatings really hold up. All right, so let's start off with the Super Taper X. We're gonna let the machine run for 30 minutes, and then we're gonna see how hot the blade is in different sections. All right, we got 30 minutes, so now let's move the camera around and see how hot the blade is at the bottom. We have about 115 degrees. Moving up to the center, we're about 97, 98 degrees where the grooves are. And in the contact area by the teeth, you see it could go all the way up to about 117, 118 degrees. Now let's check the F32 fade out blade on the Vapor Limited Edition. We're gonna let this run for 30 minutes once again and see what we get. All right, so let's move the camera around. At the bottom of the blade, we're at 112 degrees. In the middle of the blade, we're at about 113 degrees, and the contact area, 118 degrees. Now remember, this is at a higher RPM, but look, in that left corner with the different coating, it's at 96 degrees. What is that corner coated in? That's what I want to know. And then on the other side, you see it's at about 110 degrees. All right, moving on to the black Magic Clip with the gold titanium hypoallergenic blade. We're gonna let this run for 30 minutes and see how hot it gets into different sections. So let's fire it up and check it out. All right, so we're at 30 minutes. So let's move the camera to the bottom of the blade. On the bottom of the blade, we're at about 102, 104 degrees. Center of the blade, we're at about 92 degrees, and that's the part that contacts the head the most, so that's great. At the contact area, about 107 degrees, not too bad. All right, so the motor, the Wahl Super Taper X, this is a brushed rotary motor, is said to have 6,500 RPMs. So let's test that and see what we get. Super Taper X. Right on the money, 6,500. And moving on to the Wahl Vapor Limited Edition, this has a brushless rotary motor and is said to get 8,000 RPMs. So let's see how it performs. Wahl Vapor Limited Edition. Right on the money with 8,000 RPMs. Now moving on to the black Magic Clip. This is said to get 6,500 RPMs, and this has a brush rotary motor. So let's check it out, see how it performs. Black Magic Clip. So 5,975, round it up. We're only hitting about 6,000. This is on a full charge. Let's see if we could hit 6,500 with plugging it in and giving it a little voltage jump. So even on the cord, we're only getting it to 6,300. So it just is what it is. Sometimes those brush motors, man, that's why I don't like them. I feel like the performance is always a little finicky and fluctuates. Now let's see how these machines perform with the brush test. I feel like you guys like this, but this is definitely a sure way to get your blades dull fast. But I'm gonna do it one time with this just to see the capabilities and the performance of Wahl. Company has been around a long time. So let's start with the Super Taper X. So it can make it through, just got to go a little slow. Now let's move on to the Vapor Limited Edition. Not bad, not bad. Last but not least, the black magic clip. So not too bad. Went through better than I expected. You know, I knew I had to go a little slow with this machine just because of the stagger tooth and RPMs, but hey, it made it. All right, let's talk about the battery and runtime. So the Super Taper X is said to get up to 100 minutes runtime. 100 minutes, that's 1 hour and 40 minutes. Let's see if we could achieve that. All right, so let's put the Super Taper X on the charging stand. Once that blue light stops flashing and goes steady, that will indicate we're at a full charge and we're ready to run our test. So now that we have the full charge, we're going to put this machine in the clamp. We're going to fire it up. We're going to hit the shot clock and just see how much runtime it actually has. Boom. So you see we got 1 hour and 55 minutes, which is 15 minutes longer than the advertised runtime. So not a bad performance from the Super Taper X. And for the Wahl Vapor Limited Edition, this machine is said to get up to 2.5 hours runtime. So let's see if we could get those 2.5 hours. All right, so let's put that Vapor Limited Edition in the charging stand. Once again, we're gonna wait for that blue light to stop flashing and go steady. That will indicate we have a full charge. Now that we're at the full charge, we're gonna do the usual. Take it, throw it in the clamp, hit the shot clock, turn it on, and let's see if we could get that 2.5 hours runtime out of the Vapor Limited Edition. All right, you see we got 2 hours and 23 minutes. 7 minutes short from 2.5 hours, but not a bad performance. Sure, if we gave it some grease, a little more oil, we could probably get to that 2.5 hours, maybe a little more. And moving on to the Black Magic Clip. The Black Magic Clip is supposed to get up to 100 minutes runtime. Again, hour and 40 minutes. Let's see if we could achieve that hour and 40 minutes. All right, let's throw that Black Magic Clip in the charging stand. Again, waiting for that blue light to stop blinking and go steady to indicate we have a full charge. Now that we're at a full charge, I'm going to throw that machine in the clamp, hit the shot clock, turn it on, and let's see what this magic clip could do. All right, we got 2 hours and 6 minutes. Despite starting the shot clock a couple seconds late, we got 26 minutes above the advertised runtime. Good job for the Magic Clip. All right, so now let's talk about the body of these machines. The Super Taper X pretty much has the same exact body as the Magic Clip. You could even say it's a Magic Clip with a taper blade. It's a bulky, feels like an old school body design. It has the finger grooves on the back, the hanging hook, the Wahl gray tip plug. There's no USB-C, there's no micro USB. It has the charging light indicator, which we went over for the battery test. Super Taper X on the side. That traditional Wahl switch, which probably will go bad eventually. The regular Wahl lever. Sometimes these get loose. It doesn't have any click to it. And it has this metallic look, which even this looks old school. This looks like a 1957 Chevy, like the side of just an old school car, and that metallic blue with this diamond design. It's like, come on, man. That's the body of the Super Taper X in a nutshell. So now we'll move on to the body of the Vapor Limited Edition. This is the same machine as the original Vapor. The only thing different is this hydro dip rubberized body, and every one of these machines will be unique. None of them will look the same, and there's only 20,000 of them made. That rubbery grip is all over the whole machine. Compared to the original one, you just had the rubber grip here. Definitely like this one better, but it's the same machine. Finger grooves on the back, no way to hang the machine. Only way to charge is the Wahl gray tip plug, no USB. Charging and on indicator light. This is a grooved rubber grip that was on the original one that I just showed you. The lever on this one is a little bit bigger. It's metal, but this lever will also loosen up on you and you have to tighten it up. The screw is underneath this rubber cap. I'm not going to take that cap off because I already lost mine on my original Vapor. And when you compare the body shape to the Magic Clip, which has the same body as the Super Taper X, you can see it's definitely skinnier, lighter, and feels way better in the hand. Moving on to the Magic Clip, this body we're all familiar with. Just feels big and bulky nowadays. Finger grooves on the back, hanging hook, only way to charge it is the wall plug. Indicator light for when it's on and charging. The little finger indentation up top. Regular plastic lever, no clicks on it. And that pretty much covers the Magic Clip body that we are all familiar with. So let's move on to the weight and sound test for these machines. Super Taper X, 10.2 ounces, Vapor Limited Edition, 9.9 ounces, Black Magic Clip, 10.5 ounces. And we'll check the sound real quick. Super Taper X first. Coming in at 70 decibels, Vapor Limited Edition. Let's say 69 decibels, and the Black Magic Clip. Let's say 71 decibels, so not too bad. And now the price. At the time of this video, the Super Taper X on the Wahl website is $159.99. The Vapor Limited Edition Hydro Dip, one of one, every one. Price on the Wahl website at the time of this video, $219.99. And the world famous Black Magic Clip is $164.99 on the Wahl website. All right, so now let's get into the accessories and what you get with that price tag. Now with the Super Taper X, you get blade cover, oil, clean out brush, instruction manual, classic Wahl comb, a full set of basic guards. These will get the job done, but they're pointy, they're uncomfortable for the customer, and the plastic on them is definitely not the greatest. So you get a number 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1.5. You also get the charging cord, of course. This is the gray tip charging cord, and this can be removed for international charging, but you only have the adapter of the country you bought it in, and this is the US adapter. And with the Vapor Limited Edition, you get the blade cover, oil, clean out brush, comb, which looks a little different design on it, instruction manual, charging cord, and a set of premium guards that only go up to number 5. So you get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1.5. Plastic on these are a little bit better and they're more comfortable than the basic guards. And for the Black Magic Clip, you get the blade cover to protect your teeth while your machine's in transport, the oil, clean out brush, instruction booklet, classic Wahl comb. You get a set of premium guards going up to the number 8, but weirdly enough, they skipped a couple numbers. So it goes from 8 to 6 to 4, and then 3, 2, 1.5, 1.5. So I guess they figured the 7 and 5 clip wasn't really necessary. And you get the charging cord. And as you can tell, none of these machines come with the charging stand upon purchase. The only way you could get a charging stand to come with any of these is with the Magic Clip. If you buy the gold version, that comes with a charging stand. However, for these machines, charging stands are sold separately. This is the older looking charge stand that will fit the Magic Clip, Senior, Super Taper, and stuff like that. If you want a charging stand for the Vapor, you would get the single power station, which has interchangeable inserts that fit most of the Wahl cordless family. This comes with the insert that will fit the Vapor. I did a whole video on this. If you want to check it out, it's on the channel. If you have the power station that holds 3 machines, that does not come with the Vapor insert. However, Wahl is selling this Vapor insert separately for $2.99 on their website. So now moving on to the part of the video where we tear it down and take a peek inside these machines to see what the internals look like. So let's open them up. All right, so here's the internals of the Super Taper X. Very similar stuff that we've seen from Wahl before. The internals of the Vapor Limited Edition. And the internals of the Black Magic Clip. Okay, so my final thoughts. Well, for one, with all these machines, I feel like the price is a little high, especially with the accessories that they give us. And the guards that come with the Wahl Super Taper X, those guards shouldn't even exist anymore. And I don't know why they're skipping guards on the Magic Clip. Just put the extra guards in the set. And with the Vapor, we could have the guards go up a little higher. Now, back to the Super Taper X. This is pretty much just a Magic Clip with a taper blade that's shaped like a T outliner. That's it. That's it. Does this stay on my station? Absolutely doesn't. Not because it's necessarily a bad machine, but I don't like a taper blade. You know, between the taper blade and the forgiveness of the stagger tooth blade, I just feel like I'm never close to the hair. I'm going over the same area way too much, so it doesn't stay on my station at all. And the body for this is too bulky, and the Magic Clip has the same body. We've moved beyond it. And this lever, they need to do click levers or just have levers that don't loosen up over time, and that applies to all three of these machines. So, moving on to the Vapor Limited Edition. I like that they're doing a limited edition. You know, I think this machine looks cool. And being that they're all unique, if you're cool with your barber supply, he might let you take a peek in the box to pick one that you really like. But my final thoughts on the machine, you know, there's just a couple improvements that I think should be done to the Vapor before you start making limited editions and all that. Because this gets loose on people. And come on, no charging stand, no USB-C. Well, we need to step into the future. I see you edging there, but let's take a couple more steps and get there. The black Magic Clip, this is the best Magic Clip you could get in my opinion. I'm going to do another video where I compare all the Magic Clips. Again, the same thing with the Super Taper X, bulky body, but that stagger tooth blade saves it, and with the fade blade and the coatings is good. This is something that stays on the station simply because new customers and you're not sure how the hair is going to react. This is a good machine to tread lightly and be cautious with the cut, and it's also a great machine for new barbers. That's one thing that keeps a Magic Clip going. But we don't need brush motors anymore. We need brushless motors. We need click levers. We need everything to come with the charging stand. We need everything to be USB-C. Because nowadays when I let people borrow a machine, they're like, is it USB-C? Because they already have the whole station set up and they don't have a lot of room. So they want to be able to just switch something out and plug it in. So it's in your disservice to not have any of these machines USB-C chargeable. And definitely need the click lever on all these. So, well, you know, you're in a dangerous spot where companies could pass you because there's starting to be barbers that never owned a Wahl, never owned a Magic Clip, and they're just starting off on different machines. And I didn't use a senior for this video because I just didn't think it really applied. And a couple rumors from the CT Barber Expo, they said they're going to do Senior 2.0. We're supposed to have a brushless motor, I think like the Vapor Wahl. It's going to have a lever that can be freestyle or click, and it's supposed to like pop out, and that's how you change whether it's freestyle or click. And it's supposed to have the fade blade as well. It will probably have coatings, and hopefully it does some upgrades. I think it would be cool if they did a fade blade shaped like a T outliner with some grooves like a fusion blade and slap that thing on the Senior. And they could really make the Senior, they have an opportunity to make the Senior 2.0 dope, but we'll see what they do, man. So hope this video helped in terms of making a decision which one you want and just the difference between all of them. So like and subscribe. I got some more comparisons and reviews coming. I got a lot coming down the pipeline. But until the next time, Barber's Lounge, baby, where we break it down.